guys, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new, hi, I'm Pete. Now on today's video, what we're going to do, I'm going to try to really make this a quick video, get it straight into the point, but it's going to be a little different. I'm going to do, I guess, my first narrator over the video. That way so you guys can get an actual close-up as in what I'm doing instead of hovering over me and also trying to get a good angle. But as you probably seen by the thumbnail or title, I'm going to show you guys how I'm able to consistently, I would say, fertilize my plants throughout the year. Now keep in mind, most people don't fertilize their plants during a certain time of the year, and that's usually due because of the plants are technically not growing. They're supposed to be dormant, but house plants, as you know, they grow throughout the year, so I wouldn't see why you wouldn't do it, but I also can definitely see why you shouldn't do this. And again, that's only because of the seasons this time of year, which is kind of cold now. Winter for me is not warm at all, and the air is not dry, so not watering it, but heavy fertilizing it this time of year will be very what's the word I'm looking for? Let's just say drastic. Will be a very drastic move for your plants. Now, keep in mind this process that I'm doing. Of course, with most of my projects, I do research behind it just to make sure that what I'm doing, I won't be killing any of my plants. And with fertilizer and on a, I would say, mass scale, not a really mass scale, but mass scale fertilizing all at once, that can be tricky. And if anything goes wrong, yeah. Yeah, while doing my research and one of my random late night plant checkups, I was doing some random thinking about fertilizing, and just the statement that I just made, it was like, well, why can't I fertilize my plant throughout the year and she'd be okay? But then there's that negative end, as in the temperature and trying to fertilize her without burning the roots, or having just the fertilizer sitting in the pot and burning the roots, and the plant's not sucking up the fertilizer, blah, blah, blah. But then you also, me personally, I was left to think, well, why if that's the case, why would your plants that come from the wild, you can't tell them when they're not able to be fertilized. But keep in mind that most of these plants are like tropical, so they usually stay, a certain degree warm, hot, humid, rainy, whatever the case may be throughout that year. So I'm pretty sure that they're not getting hit with the temperatures that we're getting hit with. So I can honestly see why you wouldn't, but again, fertilizing in lower doses, I wouldn't see the harm, especially when you have to water your plants. But at this time of year, here comes another negative. You're not supposed to waterlog, or you're really supposed to wait till it dries out to water, just because of the water retention, and again, the season that we're in. So it's kind of horrid on the plant itself. So I can understand. I'm sorry, guys. My stand, I think it's moving. I'm not sure, but it looks like it. But anyway, yeah, that'll work. Yeah, so I figured out a way that works for me. I wish I would have recorded the process, but I wasn't thinking. But I do know that since I've been doing this, I've seen a difference in the growth of my plants, and as of now and so far, this is what I will be doing from now on, unless I don't know. For the most part, this is what I'm going to do, especially during the colder months. Now I will feel a lot at ease if I do it during the summer months with the heavy of the fertilization. But just this process here works fine with me. And of course, as I said, I did some research on it, and there are some. I think there are some kind of products or some kind of solution that you can use for this certain project. But let's go ahead and jump straight into this. I want this video to be like short and straight to the point, but I did decide to come on first and just explain, give you a little background as into what made me think of this and how my results have turned out. But I didn't do any recording, so that sucks, but it works for me, guys, and I'm pretty sure it'll work for you. You just have to try it out and go from there. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Alright, guys, now I'm not sure what kind of mystifier this is exactly, but I do know that it's one that I use from a clothing store called TJ Maxx. It's like a home goods store. Anyway, guys, that is the bottom part that I'm showing there is the vent. You must have a flat surface or something to place it down on it so it can breathe. That is the top we just took off of. I'll explain a little bit more about that down the line. But it also comes with the extra lid on it. Now that part actually covers your water or your solution. As you see here, now this is the fill line. Once we get to the actual filling up part, then I will explain that. And also I just showed you the AC adapter for this actual machine. It's a plug-in. Now right here, this is my Miracle Grow or fertilizer mix that I use. As you can tell by the blue solution at the bottom, that was due to the high humidity here during the summer. So yeah, it sits in the bag because of that blue dye. If it gets on your hands or your clothes, guys, it will not come off for a while. So that you have to worry about. And here is just a regular jug of water that I use. I usually let my water sit out for about a week or so all the chlorine and extra chemicals in it can evaporate, so the pH can actually go down. Because the water here, pH is pretty high, and I mean you can really like smell the chemicals in the water. But hey, I drink bottled water, but hey. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is basically go inside of this blue dye the blue dye formula of mine, and I'm going to use it comes with a measuring scoop if you didn't know, but yeah, I'm looking for the scoop in there, and you're going to, well, for me, since I don't want to over fertilize anything or yeah, basically over fertilize anything, I use the smaller end, which is it should be a teaspoon. I'm looking for it, and yeah, there it is. So yeah, I usually use the smaller end for the dipping process. Now, as you can see here, the top part will be your tablespoon, which is basically for your indoor plants, and then for outside use, you would use the bigger one. And usually the ones for outside are for like bigger plants, or it's hotter outside, and you can't up your fertilizer just because of the plant usage during the growth season. But yeah, again, since it's indoor time and it's most definitely winter time as of now, and keep in mind, guys, that this video here is pre-recorded. It is now January the 29th, so really not sure when this is going to be uploaded, but it will be scheduled sometime. But what I'm doing now is emptying my solution in there. I just dumped the whole spoon in there and kind of, rinsed it off just to get all the extra fertilizer in there. And
What I'm doing now is, as you can see, is just closing her back up. Now, keep in mind, I'm not sure this will, in my case, with the high humidity, any kind of fertilizer that is left, I would say outside, needs to be in a container that is like temperature controlled, or just left in the house, because when this was outside, I tell you, the heat and the humidity just wore it out. And that blue dye, as you can see, that it's at the bottom, and um, actually coming through the second bag that I had to put it on, because even the first bag that it was in had started to leak and it was getting everywhere. So I had to figure something out. So I was like, well, hey, I'll just use another plastic Ziploc bag. But as you can see, I'm trying to make sure that dye is not on me just for those reasons. But as you can see there, I had a little bit on my thumb. But I am basically, we are going to shake this solution up as much as we can. Now I do this just because I want to make sure that all of my that they have little what do you call those things? Crystals. Yeah, have little crystals inside of there, and you want to make sure that it's all dissolved properly in there. Only because once it starts to run out, guys, I tend to pour the rest out in another bottle and refill it. And then once it gets to a certain level, then I do some, combining. So I didn't want any of the solutions stronger than the other, because even if I do that, then both solutions, once they're together, is even stronger. So I would rather have the same solution all the way around. And I'm not saying that doing this is the case or is not the case, but for me and my purposes, just to be on the safe side, I just try to make sure I get all the little crystals um, dissolved inside of the water before doing anything else, and especially before trying to put it inside of this Mr. Machine of mine. So as you can see, I don't have a lid for this little guy. This jug usually is a regular jug. It sits outside once it fills up in the corner. Of course, you don't need the lid on it when it's trying to get those chemicals out. But with the small lip on it, of course, it's going to take a little while for the chemicals to get out. But that is okay, because like I said before, I have some reserves. Now, that is the fill line that I showed you earlier. What we're going to do is, again, is basically going to fill your solution up. Your solution up. You're going to fill your container up with the solution to the line, but you want to make sure that when filling this, that it is flush with the line. So you have to place it down on the table and check to make sure. If not, your machine will only spew out water everywhere and it will not work. So as you can see, it is on the line, very flushed. So at this point, we are ready. Now what I'm going to do is get the lid for it. At the lid, you'll see right here at the top, there's this little funky lip, looks like a mouth. You want to make sure that that lip is faced towards the front, just because if it's faced the other way, your lid won't go on, and then you have to take it off and revert it. So the lip must face the front. Once you get that on there, then you go to your actual housing lid and you lock it on. Make sure the nozzle is in the front. Of course, it won't really go in the front if it's inverted. So you're going to place it on the front, and there is a lock switch on there. Now there's a turn lock, kind of like a pill bottle. What I'm going to do now is plug her up. She's actually ready to go. Now this little guy here, again, I got from this little local home goods store, clothing store, and again, this machine was basically used for, or was meant for, like your oils, and use like bottled water in your oils, and of course it changes colors. But as you can see now, it is pushing out the fertilizer. Now, as you can see, it comes with different, a cool coloring changing system. I think there's like blue, green, maybe purple, um, red, and some other colors, guys. But this is how I am able to fertilize year round. Now, of course, when the weather warms up and it's actually cold here now, I will typically water them in the soil. This here will help hit the leaves, and the leaves can suck it up, and also the aerial roots can pull it in as well. Now you seen how I just took the nozzle off. This is like a safety feature, and it cuts off or stop pushing as hard. And then as you can see now, the safety feature is on, and it just spews out water because there is no the clicker for the safety module, which is that there. Now it comes back on, so there is a safety switch for it. This is cool mist, guys. Of course, you wouldn't want to warm up your fertilizer and have it shooting down on your plants. Now, this is the inside of one of my major grow tents that sit in the room that I will be doing a tour on, and this is the process. In the back corner back there, there is a fan now. This mist will go down onto all the plants, as you see, straight down to the bottom, and of course with the help of the fan, it's circulating in there. Now, I should have done some recording on this, guys, a long time ago, but during that time I wasn't even thinking about posting anything at that point. So but I can tell you it does work, and I have seen a big difference in my plants. And thinking about it now, I really should have done it. But yeah, guys, this is how I'm able to fertilize my plants year round, and I am loving it.